As he waited, he felt her fingers tighten in his hand. "Tell me, Gray Goose, what happened?" "I don't know, Jeems." His eyes went to her suddenly from the fire, as if he was not quite sure he had heard what she had said. She did not move her head, but continued to gaze unseeingly into the flames. Inside his palm her fingers worked to his thumb and held it tightly again, as they had clung to it when she was frightened by the thunder and lightning. "I don't know what happened, Jeems." This time he did not feel the clinging thrill of her little fingers and soft palm. Deep within him he experienced something that was like a sudden and unexpected blow. He was ready to fight for her until his last breath was gone. He was ready to believe anything she told him, anything except this impossible thing which she had just spoken. For she did know what had happened in Kedsty's room. She knew, unless... Suddenly his heart leaped with joyous hope. "You mean you were unconscious?" he cried in a low voice that trembled with his eagerness. "You fainted, and it happened then?" She shook her head. "No, I was asleep in my room. I didn't intend to sleep, but I did. Something awakened me. I thought I had been dreaming, but something kept pulling me downstairs. And when I went, I found Kedsty like that. He was dead. I was paralyzed, standing there when you came." She drew her hand away from him, gently but significantly. "I know you can't believe me, Jeems. It is impossible for you to believe me." "And you don't want me to believe you, Marette?" "Yes, I do. You must believe me." "But the tress of hair, your hair, round Kedsty's neck." He stopped. His words, spoken gently as they were, seemed brutal to him. Yet he could not see that they affected her. She did not flinch. He saw no tremor of horror. Steadily she continued to look into the fire. And his brain grew confused. Never in all his experience had he seen such absolute and unaffected self-control. And somehow it chilled him. It chilled him even as he wanted to reach out and gather her close in his arms, and pour his love into her ears, entreating her to tell him everything, to keep nothing back from him that might help in the fight he was going to make. And then she said, "Jeems, if we should be caught by the police, it would probably be quite soon, wouldn't it?" "They won't catch us." "But our greatest danger of being caught is right now, isn't it?" she insisted. Kent took out his watch and leaned over to look at it in the fire-glow. "It is 3 o'clock," he said. "Give me another day and night, Gray Goose, and the police will never find us." For a moment or two more she was silent. Then her hand reached out, and her fingers twined softly around his thumb again. "Jeems, when we are safe, when we are sure the police won't find us, I will tell you all that I know about what happened in Kedsty's room. And I will tell you about the hair. I will tell you everything." Her fingers tightened almost fiercely. "Everything," she repeated. "I will tell you about that in Kedsty's room, and I will tell you about myself. And after that, I am afraid you won't like me." "I love you," he said, making no movement to touch her. "No matter what you tell me, Gray Goose, I shall love you." She gave a little cry, scarcely more than a broken note in her throat, and Kent, had her face been turned toward him then, would have seen the glory that came into it, and into her eyes, like a swift flash of light, and passed as swiftly away. What he did see, when she turned her head, were eyes caught suddenly by something at the cabin door. He looked. Water was trickling in slowly over the sill. "I expected that," he said cheerfully. "Our scow is turning into a rain barrel, Marette. Unless I bail out, we'll soon be flooded." He reached for his slicker and put it on. It won't take me long to throw the water overboard," he added. "And while I'm doing that, I want you to take off your wet things and tuck yourself into bed. Will you, Gray Goose?" "I'm not tired, but if you think it is best—" Her hand touched his arm. "It is best," he said, and for a moment he bent over her until his lips touched her hair. Then he seized a pail and went out into the rain. End of chapter 19. Recording by Roger Moline.